Hey everyone, Michelle here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my September wrap up video. September was a really good month for me. The books I read are here. You can can't see that's like 2 there. So I planned for 10 books, as you will know if you've saw my September TBR video. I read 11, which I'm really surprised by because a week before the end of September, I was saying to myself, I'm not going to finish these books, I had 3 left to go. And then I found out, oh, hang on a minute, 3 days before the end of September, I have no books technically planned to read, which I was really happy about because you will know that this book wasn't on my TBR. And I found out it was coming out in September, like a week before it was coming out. So I was really happy I got time to read it because this is one of my most anticipated books this year. So yeah, a really good reading month for me. It's put me in a reading mojo for October, which is going well at the moment. So I'll stop waffling. I've not been waffling that long actually. Surprise, surprise. But before I waffle on anymore, let's get on with the books. So the first book I read in September was The 8 Detectives by Alex Pavesi. This book was a really strong start to this month. I give it 4 stars. I found this so interesting that you weren't just following this editor as she was trying to find this author to try and find out more about the stories. You read each story that he'd written. You were connecting the dots that she was connecting, and there were little hints of that there was something going on that you didn't quite know of, which I'm really glad about. I'm going to stand this way, sorry, I do apologise, I've got more room. Yeah, so a lot of the times I saw the end, let me rephrase that. I did see the ending for some of the stories that the author had written coming, but when they dropped little hints of maybe that's not the ending and you were kind of getting this feeling that everything's not as it seems, in my head I was going, right, okay, so the author's either this person or he's this person or is this person or is nothing connected to it, it's just a wild goose chase. So the ending, so 3 twists before the actual ending, I was like, huh? The second twist in the ending, I kind of saw coming. The last twist, which was technically 2 twists, I saw one, didn't see the other. And that's kind of why I gave this book 4 stars, because it wasn't just a total, oh my god, I didn't see any of it coming, it's really good, but I didn't see any of it coming. It was a mixture of the 2, and I quite liked that because I worked some of it out. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would actually love to read the book that the stories in here are based on. So I know it sounds really weird, and I know sometimes authors do this, so if somehow Alex Pavesi sees this video, if you want to go write that book that's in this book, you have one person who will be pre-ordering it as soon as she sees it on the Waterstones website, because it was such good. The writing style was different for each story, which I loved, because it wasn't just the same format, and there were different characters who I'm pretty sure some were linked, and that's why I want the book that's in this book, because I just want to know if they are linked, because if they are, can't hear that, that's a clap. Great start to this month, great. Yeah, it got me into the reading mojo. I loved it. I think everyone should read this. I think it's a really great book. I think this may be Alex's debut. Yeah, so 8 Detectives is his first book. I'm so looking forward to seeing what else this writer brings out. So for my second book, we go from a great book to a not so great book. The Day We Met by Roxy Cooper. Now, as I said in my September TBR, I don't like cheating books. And I thought going into this, maybe it's not going to be as bad as I thought it would be. it was worse. Spoilers galore here, I don't really care. 2 stars, I don't really care at this moment in time. They cheated on their partners within the first 60 pages. One case that could be a mistake, if these characters didn't go and emotionally cheat on their partners. And I'm sorry, but emotionally cheating is still cheating. And sometimes that's worse. And then they physically cheat after, I know it's after a few years, but they physically cheat. And it says, oh, well, I won't speak to this person anymore because so-and-so's pregnant, or I want to do this instead. And I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to see them, but I'm going to succumb to it, and I'm going to go see this person. And I'm going to love them, and I'm going to do this, but my partner's pregnant, and now you're pregnant. And then I was like, maybe they're not going to get a happy ending. Maybe they're not going to end up with each other. I will be so happy if they didn't end up with each other. They end up with each other. And then I'll be honest, I feel like this ending to this book is a cop-out. I know some people are going to disagree with me, but I'm sorry, but I hate this. I don't want to get too angry on video, but, and I know cancer can affect anyone every time, especially if you've got it in the family. You potentially going to get it. It's, you know, it's something I've had to think of. A lot of people do. But to use that as a reason why it's not a happy ending, no, it hated me. As soon as I read that bit where she was diagnosed, I knew how this book was going to end. And I wanted to throw this book out the window. I hate it. I hate it. Maybe because I already hated this book just because of the cheating stand. And I'm not going to say it's not well written, because Roxy did write some really great pieces in this book. And some of the characters I actually liked. And I wanted to see maybe some of the background characters. Because I mean, so the characters the main two have with the people in the background. Great. I would have probably rooted for these two as a couple if it wasn't for the cheating. And if it was literally a story of how you saw both their other relationships crumble. Because I mean, I'll be honest, her original partner was a scum, I'll say. And I wanted to feel sorry for her. But I couldn't because of the cheating. And I'm not going to go anymore because I don't want to turn this into a rant review. But 2 stars. If you don't like cheating in books, don't pick this book up. If you don't like cancer being used as a way to have an unhappy but happy ending, don't read this book. Because I can tell you now, come December, 31st December, when I'm going through all the books I've read this year and I'm doing my unhaul, this will be one of the first books in that pile. Book number 3 in September was The Less Dead by Denise Mina. And for this book, I gave it 3 stars. I liked the characters. The characters were so well developed. I liked the fact they weren't all one-dimensional. They had different sides. You saw sides to characters that you wouldn't think you'd see. You could see these relationships were well developed. It was great. And the scene setting was phenomenal. What let it down was the fact that I felt there are some red herrings in here that didn't plan out, because they were probably plotted there to make you think one way, but I could kind of see through them and I was like, no. And because of one red herring, I knew the ending 75% of the way through the book, which took the fun out. But I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed 75% of it. It was just 25% that I didn't like. So I will pick up more from this off. I don't want to spoil it, but I liked the background information that you find out. And people are like, what do you mean background, Michelle? But if you read this book, you'll get what I mean. So it was enjoyable. And like I said, it was just the fact that the red herrings didn't plan out. And because of certain red herrings, I knew what was happening. Ended 75% of the way through this book. I literally was like, I said it out loud, I was like 10:30 at night. My neighbours probably think I'm crazy, but I was literally just like, so this character's going to do this, and this character's going to do that, and that's what's going to happen, and it's going to end like this. And I was right. So yeah, good book though, so now I will definitely pick up more from this author, but yeah, okay book. The next, sorry, I'm out of frame of it. I need to get more room. Sorry, I'm out of frame for a bit. I need to get more room and I can't stand there because my wardrobe. But anyway, the fourth book I read this month, and a 4 stars, which I'm not surprised by, was Of Curses and Kisses by Zendaya Menon. Such a fantastic retelling of Beauty and the Beast. You rooted for the main 2 characters, Princess Jaya and Grey Emerson, from the start. They were complex characters. They were characters who you rooted for, and yes, you knew they were going to end up together because it's Beauty and the Beast retelling. They end up together, but there was no Beast character in my eyes, or if there were the other characters. I like that the background characters were so involved but didn't overstep their mark. Oh, I just loved it. I just loved it. I love Zendaya's writing, so I knew I would love this book, but oh, I adored it. I can't wait for the next book. It comes out in January, if I remember correctly. Cannot wait for it to come out. It's about 2 of the background characters who I would never put together, and I mean that nicely, never. So I can't wait to see how Zendaya puts them together and writes them. I know it's going to be amazing, but oh, I loved it. Yeah, that's it. I loved it. The next book I read was another 4 stars, and that was The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is the prequel to Practical Magic. Yes, the film, and I'm reading the book this month. I can't wait. Oh, I love this book. I loved seeing where the 2 girls from Practical Magic, I can't remember the name of the 2 girls, came from, because obviously they're their aunts. And they have a brother in this book. So I was like, but there's no mention of a brother in Practical Magic. Where do these 2 girls come from? Oh, such an amazing book. It was lovely to see them kind of growing up, getting used to their magic to become the aunts that I know and love. It was nice to see that they found ways around the family curse, which I know Alice is writing a book on that, or she's already wrote one on that, and I can't wait to read that either. But I just loved it. I loved it. I loved the characters. Like I said, I love seeing the aunts grow up. I loved reading about this character of the brother, as it didn't go the way I thought it would at all. Alice swings you a twist that you don't see coming. I didn't see it coming. I didn't. Some people like Michelle, it was there from the start. Nope. I like the cousin element. I like the family element of not knowing family and then getting to introduce them. I liked knowing more about how the curse kind of came to be on the family and the little family secrets. But phenomenal book. I can't wait to get to read Practical Magic, and I know I will try and get my hands on that 3rd Origin book as soon as possible. But only reason it didn't get 5 stars, you don't find out in the end where the brother goes, so I'm hoping that means there is a book coming with that, please. And there are a few background characters where a bit like but yeah. And from one book about magic to another, A Wiki Magic by Sasha Lawrence. I gave this book 3.5 stars. Where was the magic? It was kind of sprinkled here and there, but I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted to know more about the magic. I wanted to see the magic being used for good rather than for bad. But this book was a good way of showing how people deal with mental health. I have to say it was. And it was a great book about showing how teenage friendships and relationships change from one year to another. I'm sorry, I had to cut that out there. But yeah, It was a good book. I just wanted more magic. You've got magic on the title. Give me more magic. I just, yeah, it let it down. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, sorry. The next book I read was If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. 2.5 stars. I love Shakespeare. I do. I enjoy Shakespeare. By God, does it have to be mentioned every other page? They don't say normal sentences. They read in Shakespeare. They speak to each other with quotes from Shakespeare. Too much blooming Shakespeare. I just didn't like it. It took me away from the storyline, which was actually pretty good. The storyline of these kids and how this accident happens and how they deal with it. And like I have to say, there was some good twists, and the characters were great, the character building were great, the world building were great, but by Jove, too much blooming Shakespeare. And that's the reason it got 2.5 stars. The next book I read was The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. 3 stars. It was a good debut book. There were some good points, there were some bad points, hence why it's 3 stars. I'm going to read my notes because I'll be honest. Yeah, let's just say that. So the world building and some of the characters were really well developed. I have to say that. I did enjoy reading about them. A bad point, some of the characters weren't so well developed. And it very much felt stereotypical in that point because the goods were the white people and the bads were the people of colour. Another good point. Some of the plot points were excellent. Yes, it was. Yeah. So that kind of links in with the good characters. Sorry, it's all come back to me now. That kind of links in with some of the characters that are really well developed. Because some characters weren't bad for bad's sake. They were bad to try and help people, and some weren't good for good's sake. They were good to try and help the bad, and I like that. I felt though that it ended abruptly, I'll be honest. I kind of wanted a bit of a better ending. I'm thinking this might be leaked into a sequel. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I will read a sequel, if I'm honest. Some of the backstories were greatly explained, but I still felt there was some missing. So, a good debut. Could have been better though for a book that's been greatly hyped everywhere. Next book I read was Sisters by Michelle Francis. 4 stars. I didn't see the ending coming. Really easy read, really fast paced. I actually read this in one day. Working from home, I sometimes take full hour breaks, sometimes I take half an hour and then 15-minute breaks, which I did. I actually started this book on a day when I woke up really early because I had Iceland coming at 6 and they came at 6. So I had a couple of hours spare before I started work, so I read this. When I started work, I was nearly 50% of the way through the book. It was intriguing, it kept me hooked. The characters were well developed, like I keep saying. There were red herrings that actually worked. Yeah, the only reason it's not 5 stars is just because I wanted to know what actually happened to the sibling that is mentioned and when the girls were younger and one of them was sick. But apart from that, fantastic. Definitely will be picking up more from this author. And then the 10th and final book that was planned to be read in September was The Foundling by Stacey Halls. 5 stars, a phenomenal story, an interesting read. You were hooked from the start. You kind of knew what happened reading from the blurb. So to me, I was like, am I going to enjoy it? Because I kind of know what's going to happen. Yeah, because it didn't happen the way I thought it would. At all. Phenomenal. The world building, taking you back to 1754. I felt I was in 1754 reading this book. The characters were complex. they turned on you like no tomorrow. As in, you thought you knew what one character were going to do. Get that out of your head, Michelle. Get that out of your head. They're going to do something totally different, chick. The ending. Blooming neck, did not see that coming. But I have to say, I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed Stacey's other book, The Familiars. So I kind of guessed I'd like this book. She's becoming one of my automatic buy authors. And by God, I've been enjoying that. Yeah. Pick up this book. This book is in my top 10 books of the year at the moment. I can't see that being kicked out of it. Any stretch of the imagination. Book number 11, read in September, and read definitely one of my top five books of the year. Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. Yes, this book, the hype is real, the hype is true, the hype is perfect. This is an Arthurian legend retelling where you follow our main character Bree, who her mum dies, and there's something not quite right there. You can kind of tell just from the opening part of it. 3 months later, she goes to school, and normally in teen books, the parents dying isn't really at the forefront. Like, you don't see them dealing with that. Or you see her dealing with that. You see her dealing with her mental health and struggling, which I love. How it's not always you're going to be really, really sad, or you're going to forget about this person forever. That sounds really bad, but I won't go into more grief yet, stuff yet, but like Karen, yeah. So she goes to school and she sees a few things she shouldn't see, and she's brought into this secret society, and her world is flipped upside down. And you think you know where this book's going. You do not know where this book's going, or you don't know how that book's going to get there. Oh. The character building, the world building, the story building. Phenomenal. This character doesn't look like me, let's be honest. And I love that. I am sick of seeing the white girl who is the hero, especially when it's Arthur, King Arthur, who's like saviour of England, white boy. Love it. Absolutely love it. She threw this character and her best friend, who by normal standards shouldn't be part of this world, she threw them into this world and they crushed it. It was phenomenal. This book was amazing. The way she kind of retold the Arthur legend and made it her own and made it work, and it worked so well. Oh my God, I loved it. And going back to the grief thing, as someone who has lost a parent and is part of a family where we all kind of deal with that grief in different ways, it was nice seeing that. It was nice seeing a character who didn't... It's going to sound really bad, and I hope no one thinks that I'm bashing anyone, because I'm not, because I know everyone deals with grief in different ways. But to see a character who actually deals with that grief and works with it rather than against it, so it's not her whole story. Bree's whole story isn't about her mum's death. Her mum's death is this catalyst into this wider world and to this greater story, but she's still linked with her mum and she still deals with that death, and I love Tracy for that. She's phenomenal. Like I said, I don't look like this character, but I felt connected to this character in that way. The way she dealt with the grief and her mental health, I saw myself in that, because with my dad's passing, and people are probably going to tell me, Michelle, you didn't act that way, but to me, I felt like that. That was me, if that sounds really bad. But yeah, there is a couple of well-known tropes in here. Of course there is, it's YA. There's only so many tropes. But Tracy deals with it in such a good way. I know on Twitter and Instagram there's team so-and-so and team so-and-so. Tracy, if you're somehow watching this video, does she have to pick? Because I'm thinking a little the 3 people relationship here might actually work well. And I'll be honest, one of them ain't a bad, they're not totally bad boy, and it's not a totally good boy, it's a mixture. And I like it. But please, I don't want 2 different teams. I want one team that is for a throuple, and I'm here for it. And I want more. I want the next book now, please. But yes, while I'm trying to step away from YA, this is one series everyone should pick up, everyone should enjoy and carry on reading this book. And this is a series that I will be reading in future, and the hype is worth it. The hype is correct. Read Legendborn, Tracy Dion. It's on Waterstones. Go buy. Bye, please, bye. I'm holding you now, so you might get a bit wobbly, but there are all 11 books that I read this month. Apart from that one, go read. Everyone should read these books apart from that one. That looks really weird. I do apologise, but it's because I'm filming on my bed's there. The ironing board's there, which is where this is normally stand on, and I can't fit because, yeah. But yeah, great month in September. There they are. Great reading month in September. Really enjoying October. I'm 100 pages away from finishing my second book. I think I'll start my third. My aim of reading 157 pages a day might be blasted today, but I did struggle a couple of days as well, so I'm making up for it. But yeah, so good month in September. Yeah, and that's it. I'm going to go now because, yeah, I don't know why. But until next week, bye everyone.